Hi, beautiful people. Welcome to another Senior Spotlight. I'm Rosemary. Do you know how to do watercolor painting? If not, this is a program for you. Join me as I invite my friend John Villasenor, an art student, to show us the basic techniques on how to do watercolor painting. So let's begin.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Hello, beautiful people. I'm here with my good friend John Villasenor. John, welcome. So, you're going to be our watercolor teacher today. So, tell me, how did you get interested in watercolors? What is your experience?
Actually, I started watercolors when I was in high school. Initially it was acrylics, and then I was introduced to watercolors, and then that just kind of took off from there. One thing about watercolors is it's almost something that you just want to play with. You don't necessarily have to draw a figure or you don't have to draw a diagram. It's more or less just playing with the colors.
Oh,
And
so that's why it's geared towards kids a lot then,
yes,
right? Because
yes.
kids love to play.
hmm
But even older people can play.
That is no, that is absolutely correct, and especially with watercolors, it's actually not an expensive a hobby to get into. You can go to any of your arts and crafts stores. They have a beginner's kit. Even the pads, that there are certain paper pads, like for instance this one here. A lot of your watercolor pads will say watercolor on it, and the reason why it is a watercolor is because it's the thickness of the paper.
I
You
see.
don't want to be dealing with water with thin paper. So you want to be dealing with a thicker piece of paper so that the paper will actually absorb the water. So
And not tear, huh?
and not tear. I'm going to give you some pointers to help out as far as getting started.
That's great. So, in terms of beginners, like I never touched watercolors since I was probably in elementary school, which was
Okay.
years ago. I'm not going to say how long, but
Okay.
so what type of paints am I to get?
Something simple, and as you can see, they actually come right out of the container itself. But it's something simple. They will come into like a little container, and what it is that if you notice here, I'm going to pop one out here. This is the actual watercolor paint. Okay,
Okay.
and then what you're going to do is, and I'll demonstrate, but you'll add water to that, and then you're going to apply it to the piece of paper. One thing about watercolors, they're very sensitive, meaning that we have some cups over here that have water. I like to use a cup for an individual color. I don't like mixing the colors
And why is that, John?
because what will end up happening, all your colors will end up looking brown.
Okay, I get it.
So
You told us about the paint. What about the brushes?
the brushes, you're going to need all different types, and I'll show you different types that you have here. Um, as we're looking here, obviously you have, and you can get these again. These are all beginner type of paint brushes. You don't need to go out and spend anything expensive. They're all, every single one of them will do the job. But again, this is for obviously something real fine. Then obviously you'll get into something maybe a little bit more thicker, and then again a little bit more thicker, and then you have some that here. Each one of these does a different job. But again, when it comes down to this, and I look at painting
Mm-hmm.
just like anything else, just like cooking. Okay, we all had to experiment a little bit of cooking and try to figure out what's going to taste better or how it's going to be cooked or whatever. So it's the same thing with painting: how to put the paint on and how to make it look smooth. And then really it's okay when you first start off and you're not liking what you see. That's fine. But again, keep practicing makes perfect.
Awesome. That makes sense. And is there any other type of supplies you recommend besides the paper, the brushes, the paint, and the cup of water?
No, if some people do like to use, here's a small easel.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer, I've tried using easels before,
Mm-hmm.
and I've used them in the past, but majority of it is I like to do mine flat.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can go out and get an easel, but in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
this is what I would recommend. In the beginning, make it very simple. Make it very simple and see if this is something that you enjoy doing. Also too, is when you start to paint, before you even paint, just kind of look around. Go outside, look at, if you want to draw something of a plant or draw something of a bug or draw something of the sky, just kind of just sit there and look at the sky. Get an idea in your head as far as what that sky looks like to you, because you're going to notice that when you're looking in the sky, you're going to see dark portions of blue, and then it'll fade into maybe a little light of blue, or maybe you're getting a little bit of an orange coming through because that's the sunlight coming through the cloud or whatever. So just kind of get in a work with your mind and imagination of just what you see, and what you put on paper, that's what you see, and that's okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's
Yes.
okay. We all have ideas, and we all have things the way we see things.
So, what would be some beginning playing techniques that you would recommend?
Okay, so let me get one of these paintbrushes here, and I'm going to get it wet. I'm going to go with blue. Okay.
Okay.
So what you want to do is you want to put a little water in here that's coming off of your paintbrush.
Okay.
And as you notice, it's getting nice and wet. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to put just a little bit more. And I'm just going to mix around. Now, when you first put the paint on the pad, it's going to come out dark, more darker than what you're going to do. So when I say play, you're going to put it on kind of with a brush. And did you see how light it went?
Yeah, very light.
Okay. And you can go back over it a little bit if you want to draw that darkness out a little bit more. And then again, you may have a lighter. And you see how now what I'm doing here, wherever something begins is usually the darkest.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then like a feather, at the beginning of the base of the feather, it's going to be a little bit darker, and as it goes a little bit further out, it's going to get lighter. Okay?
Yes.
So that's what you're going to want to do is you can dark, and then you can just play with it. And again,
So when you say play with it, you kind of want to get the feel for how much water to add, correct?
That's correct. Right.
Ah.
So, and then and that's what you're going to play with. Now, when you're done with that color, say you don't want to do that color anymore, put it back in and put it in your separate cup.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's say I want to go with I'm going to go with this one here. And now I'm going to go with maybe a little bit of red. Okay, now again, I'll get in a little bit. This is a brand new paintbrush, so it's a little bit stiff.
It looks like it's defining it more too.
Yes, this is more of a fine. And see, you still, as you notice, there's going to be still a little bit on there. But the more I go up, the lighter it's going to get. Okay?
Yes, I see.
we're gonna go with, what's here? And then you can play with how much water you're gonna wanna use.
John, would you recommend like a separate palette, like an artist palette? You know how with acrylics, they mix colors on the palette. Would that be helpful? I know you said we shouldn't mix colors, but would that be helpful in terms of getting enough paint on the brush, or
That's the thing is with watercolors, you don't have to. It's not like acrylics to where, you know how you have the board and you have all your paint on there?
yes, yes.
Yeah. Watercolors is a whole different beast, I would have to say.
Okay.
That's why you gotta be very careful not mixing these, because like I said, if I mix any of these, they don't mix that good, and what ends up happening, you'll have one solid color of brown. So, as you see, I can go as far as I want to, but as far as, I don't know if you can see that,
Yes.
but the green gets lighter and lighter, as you can see. Okay?
Yes.
Now, if I want to,
Mhm.
I'll show you something. I'll use this one. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm mixing a little bit of a darker green, and I'll show you what can happen. Now, this is it's somewhat dry already and absorbed, but I can still take this and then maybe outline my outside.
Oh. Almost like a highlight, huh?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So we wait till it's a little bit dry.
Yeah, but that's why this is so good that you can go right over it. Okay, let's say I want to use this over. Then get a paper towel. And I want to, okay, and I want to make sure that I'm completely done with that. Now, let's say I want to go here, and I'm going to go with, I'm just going to say orange. Let's see if I have enough on there. And then because this is a fine, so you can see where I'm just doing the outline, but as I go up further, I want to go light, because I'm going with the base, and then as I get away, it goes lighter. So as you notice, I'm already starting to develop a rainbow, and now I can go with another color, and then put another one in here, and my rainbow is going to be at the base. So this could be the base, and then it's going up.
I see.
And then I could have where the rainbow starts again at this base and work itself up to where it's stronger here and gets lighter at the top.
Ah, okay, I
You
see.
see what I'm saying?
Yes, you can join them. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
But again, basically all it is you're going to sit down and you're just going to play.
So my friends, we've reached the end of part 1 of watercolors. Join me next month as we do part 2 of watercolors. Until then, take care.